All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to weekly recap. So this weekly recap is going to be a little bit different because we had a losing week this week. But I'm also making the weekly recap just to analyze the pairs again and then give you the lessons I learned during this week, right? So that to help you avoid those kind of losses in future analysis that you're taking, right? So let's get into the video. All right, so the pairs that we took last week and we lost last week was NZD USD, AUD CHF, and Euro USD. I posted NZD USD and AUD CHF, and I learnt lessons during this week. So one thing about trading is that you actually learn more from your losses than from your wins. So let's analyze these pairs again, and then I'll tell you the lessons I learned so that you can adjust and learn from my own mistakes, right? So the very first pair was NZD USD, and what we are looking for on NZD USD was simple, because if you look on the daily time frame, you can see that the daily time frame at the time was bearish. We had a retest back into area of interest, right, and we're expecting a downward reaction. On the 4-hour time frame, 4-hour time frame was also bearish. You can see it right here. This right here was the lower low, and this was the lower high. Price retraced back into area of interest, had multiple rejections or dojis, had a strong 4-hour bearish engulfing candle, right? So since we have had two time frame in sync, we'll go over to the 1-hour time frame, and we look for something very simple. We look for the break and retest, right? So on the 1-hour time frame, we had this break and the retest, and we are supposed to be in on any engulfing, right? So I think I entered this trade on the 30 minutes time frame, right? So yes, the 30 minutes time frame. If you look on the 30 minutes time frame, you can see that we had the engulfing right here, right? We had the engulfing right here. So we entered this trade here, put our stop loss here, and then targeted a 1:2 risk reward ratio. So this trade was actually in profit for the past about, let's see here, 20 hours. We're still in profit. 23 hours we're still in profit until price came to break even right here, and then eventually stopped us out right here. So this was the first loss that we took this week. I know that this trade recap is a little bit different because now we are covering losses. We have been on the win streaks, and now we are covering losses, right? So, but this trade was not a bad trade, and I will be explaining everything in due time, right? But let's just cover the 3 losses again. So AUD CHF, this was the second loss that I posted right, that I took this week and I lost, right? So let's see how we were looking on the 4-hour time frame, because we are working more with the 4-hour time frame. On the 4-hour time frame, we were clearly bearish at the time. So price came to this area of interest, rejected strongly. It came back to this area of interest, rejected strongly. It came back again, rejected strong, and then it came back to this area again. It's just like a break retest, break retest, break retest, right? So at this area right here, you can see that price had 3 dojis, and then it had a 4-hour strong engulfing candle on the 4-hour time frame, right? So what we have to do now is go to like the 1-hour time frame for entries, right? So this right here was the trade, and I actually posted this trade on the YouTube, right? So this, on the 1-hour time frame, we had price going all bullish, right? And then it had a break and a retest, and then we have the engulfing, and then we took the trade on the second candle after engulfing, and then we put our stop loss above this level right here, and then targeted lower targets, right? Now, why is this trade a bad trade, right? Because from my explanation, I just explained how good this trade is, but this trade was not so much of a good trade. Why is that? Because during the Sunday setups, Sunday analysis that I was doing, right, I explained that I was actually either waiting for a break and retest above this area to buy, or a break and retest below this area to sell. Now if you look at this area of interest right here, this particular one, you can see that anytime that we are below this area of interest, we are rejecting down. When we are above, we are rejecting up, right? Same thing here. Anytime we are above, we are rejecting up. Whenever we are below, like this, we are rejecting down. So on this time frame, if you really look at this market structure very closely, so this was a mistake I made, right? If you look at this market structure closely, you can see that this right here was the lower low, was a higher low, right? And this right here was a higher high. So if you really look at this market structure very closely, you can see that we didn't really shift bearish, right? We just had a very big push. But to me, I was looking at this market structure right here, and I was seeing that the market shifted bearish because of this strong and break, right? And then the retest to sell. Now the trade is not really that bad, but you need to check two things. You need to look at two things right here, right? First of all, we are not under area of interest yet, right? If you really check it, we are still above area of interest, and we didn't really shift this market structure on the 1 hour time frame that we were willing to take the trade. So that's how I lost on this trade, and I was expecting this trade to continue bearish just because of this market was bearish. Now the third trade that we lost on this week, I didn't really post this one because there was no really any confirmation. I was working with the daily time frame, so let's go over to the daily time frame. If you look on the daily time frame right here, what we are looking for at the time, these candles do not exist at the time. So price was bearish, it had a break, and at the retest it had two doji candlestick. Now what I expect from price having a bearish momentum and coming back to area of interest and having two doji is a full candle to the downside, right? That will potentially give us like a 1:3 risk to reward ratio, or even 1:4 risk to reward ratio, right? So the daily time frame was bearish. On the 4 hour time frame, 4 hour time frame came back to area of interest and was stalling here for quite a lot of time, showing that this is having the price is having a very big problem trying to break this area right here, right? So price have actually been at this area since around here to around here. So price has stalled here for 4 days. 4 days price struggled to break this area, so I expected that area was a very, very strong area. On the 1 hour time frame, look on the 1 hour time frame, you can see that we had multiple engulfings on this time frame. So we had one engulfing, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 engulfings from this area. So it was showing that price was having a very hard time breaking this area of interest, which will make this area of interest very well respected, right? So but my original game plan was this right here. So I was waiting for price to break under this level right here for it to have the retest after the break, right? And then an engulfing for me to sell, right? That was the original game plan, because this right here was a higher high and this was the higher low, which means every other market structure that's happening within here is actually still bullish, right? So this is now me trying to predict where, or assuming what price is going to do, right? I should wait for price to do what it has to do, then I'll react to what price did, and not trying to assume what price is supposed to do, right? So this is where I made the mistake, and these are the lessons I learned this week. So really, if you look at this market that I explained, that meant that of all the 3 trades, I actually supposed to have taken only NZD USD this week. Now, would I have lost? Yes, I would have lost. Did I follow my system? Yes, I would have followed my system. Will I have ended the week negative? Yes, but I would have not taken 3 losses. I would have taken only 1 loss on NZD USD, because that was the only trade that actually played out the way I was expecting it to play out, right? Just the loss part. So this where it brought me to my conclusion for the week, that you need to focus on high quality setups instead of quantity, right? So instead of me taking 3 losses, I would have just taken 1 loss for this week and probably make it up next week. You get? All right. So the next lesson I learned this week was from Euro USD, right? Trying to assume what price is supposed to do, right? It's like me trying to catch the end of the market, trying to catch the top of the market. So instead of me assuming what price is going to do, I should have actually just stick to the original game plan, which was to wait for this break and retest under this level to actually sell, right? So this was because of too much confidence. And why is that too much confidence? Because we have been winning so much this week. We have just been having back-to-back wins that I felt like I knew what I was doing, and then I was going to enter there without any repercussions. So that was how I lost on Euro USD this week. So the next lesson I also learned was that I didn't know that the pressure was going to get to me. I just created the Telegram channel. Link is in the description, right? I created a Telegram channel and I was kind of trying to prove something, that I'm some type of forex wizard or something of that nature, right? I was trying to start the Telegram channel off with a very good start, having back-to-back wins, and the pressure of sending trades too. I didn't know that that was a real thing. Now, I want to take you guys back to something. If you are still watching this video, congratulations, because you are going to be learning something new, right? This time last year on August, right? This time last year, around this time last year, August, right? During the 100 to the mil series by FXALEXG, right? We actually took our very first loss on Euro USD, and it was a selling trade, and we are actually also trying to assume what price is supposed to do. You see, the same lesson I learned this week on Euro USD, that is the same lesson we learned last year on Euro USD. So I'll put up the video right now so that you can watch it.
This is how I determine how much I want to risk on the account. So I put account size 15,000, risk, I want to risk 20% of the account. My stop loss is 17 pips. So that gave me my lot size where I'm risking a total of $3,000, which is technically 20% of the account.
I see that FXALEXG actually took a loss on Euro USD by this time last year, because of we are trying to predict what price is supposed to do, right? So that's pretty much the trade this week, trade recap this week. It wasn't a bad week, yes, but we are going to come back next week stronger. I'll see you guys next week. Remember to subscribe to the channel, it's absolutely free, and that's pretty much it.